Hey guys, it's Alix.
And Kayla.
And we're married, not related, definitely codependent.
But in a cute way. And honey, I think you finally officially have nailed the intro.
I hope so.
You finally learned it.
I don't know. I still mess it up.
We are married, not related, definitely codependent.
All things that are true.
And we're so excited that you're here with us. Welcome back.
Do it.
Before we dive in, you know what I got to do. I just have to say thank you to everyone who's listening, not just for being here, but also we get messages all the time. First of all, we love getting messages when people are like, I love this episode, or I'm so a Kayla on this, or I'm an Alix on that, or I'm a perfect mix of the two of you. It's so funny to get all of these DMs from you guys, but
it's really harsh when my friends are throwing me under the bus. Like, what is that?
It's even better when we get reviews. And I love the comments on the Spotify. Did you go and check them? You probably forgot already,
I probably forgot. I don't know. I think I saw that.
Spotify, YouTube, we love it. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here, joining us on socials. Remember, if you love this episode, or I guess even if you hate it and you just want to bitch about it with one of your friends, send it to them. Commiserate over our horribleness. But before we get into today, it's my turn to lead.
Oh,
yeah,
it is.
It's my turn to lead. Yes, you look
I thought
shocked.
It was mine.
No.
And then I realized I don't have anything.
I know.
So
It's like one of those dreams where you stand up
and
you're like, oh, wait, I don't know what's happening. It's my turn to lead.
Okay. What are we doing today?
All you have to do is sit back, relax, and fail this test miserably.
Oh, no.
Because that's what's going to happen.
Am I going to struggle?
I don't know. I've told you some of these things before, so this is really a test of your listening skills, as we talked about in our last episode, which is a trigger for us, fighting fair.
Okay.
No,
I'll do my best.
This is really just a silly little online lingo test.
Oh, I'm really bad with this stuff, though.
For anyone who doesn't know, Alix is pretty chronically offline. Okay, that's not entirely true. You are always on your phone. You are online, but you're not looking at the same kind of stuff where this lingo would be present.
Yeah, it doesn't show up on my pages.
It doesn't cross your desk, so to say. So I've done this before on my socials, and yeah, you failed pretty miserably. So let's see how it goes this time. These are new words. Don't give me that look.
Okay.
These are new words. Okay, so let's start out easy. What is shipping?
Oh, I've been using this recently.
Okay.
I don't know if I can use it in a sentence though, but like
you don't have to use it in a sentence.
Oh, how did I use it? I used it in an episode recently. Like,
you did, and I even pointed
they're
out.
getting shipped right now.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
It means like people want them to be together or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So a really good example is Nicolandria. That's their ship name.
People are shipping them. They're like rooting for them. They want them to be together.
Yeah. So it's like you can ship someone. That's a verb. You are wanting them to be together. Or
is it shortened for relationship?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another one that you might know because I'm starting off easy. Don't try to look at the iPad. I keep seeing you glance down. What is a stan?
You've told me this. It's like a hardcore fan.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Like a super fan.
Super fan.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's not just san and not, instead it's stan. Like super fan, but where's the T come from?
Good question. Maybe it doesn't mean super. Maybe it's like stupid fan. I don't know. What else is this?
I don't know. It's like an intense fan.
Yeah. Okay. If somebody says body is tea, is that a compliment? You have to use words. This is a podcast. You can't just make faces.
Maybe people are watching on YouTube. I don't know. Is that a compliment? Body is tea. Isn't tea like, it's like hot, right? And well, it's like a gossip.
Yeah, which you only just learned very recently.
Yeah. It's like, it's a good thing?
Question mark? It is a good thing. So it's like body is tea. It's hot, like you said.
Yeah, like hot.
Tea is hot. So yeah, good job. Good job. You got there in the end. Okay. If somebody says, I want to serve cunt today, is that a good thing?
I don't like that word.
Is it a bad thing? Is it
that they shouldn't be using that word?
Okay. Relax, Grandpa. Relax. What if I said to you, you showed up in your podcast chair today, I said, oh my God, honey, you're serving cunt today. Would you like it? No, you wouldn't like it, but I
would hate that.
Is it a compliment?
Don't ever say that to me.
Is it complimentary or
I'm
not?
guessing that they're taking the word back in this case, so it probably means something good, like you're like a sassy biatch or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's a compliment.
It sounds like something a gay dude would say to a girl.
Yeah. So if you're saying like, yeah, you're cunty, your face every time.
I don't like it.
Okay, so just so you know, in case anyone ever says that to you, hey, Alix, you're serving cunt. Then
please don't ever say that to me.
The next time you're on one of your work calls, if someone says that to you,
that would never happen.
It's a compliment. Okay, just know that. Like it. Okay, what is a BEC?
What?
BEC. What's a BEC? What does that stand for? Let's start there.
I don't even know where to start. What do you mean? Like B period E
yes.
period C period?
Yes.
I have no clue.
Try. Something that starts with a B.
Boys. Ever. I don't know.
Okay. No. So I'm going to tell you what it stands for, and then maybe you could tell me the definition. It stands for bitch eating crackers. Okay?
What?
What does that mean? If you say, yeah, she's my BEC, she's my bitch eating crackers. What does that mean?
Like you're eating out of the palm of my hand?
No, that's an interesting thought. But okay, is this complimentary or is that derogatory?
No, that sounds not nice.
Okay, but why? Like, what does it mean?
It means something bad. Like, I don't like it. Don't say this to me.
Well, a bitch eating crackers or BEC is basically somebody who's like, no matter what they do, even if it's something as simple as just eating crackers, you'll still find a reason to hate on it. Like, that's how much you dislike them. Even when they're not doing anything wrong, it's still wrong because they just give you the ick or annoy you that badly.
I hope no one ever says that about me.
That Alix Tucker. She's my BEC.
Yikes.
Okay, and then we're going to end on a pretty easy one, I think. What is coded? If somebody was listening to a conversation.
It's like a hidden message.
Well, that's like the definition of coded in the dictionary. But okay, can you use it in an example sentence?
Like I've heard someone say like it's like maybe that's
queer
like
coded.
Queer coded, yeah.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
It means that like there's like queer undertones.
Yeah. It's like you in a nutshell. You know, it's like, let's say someone was having a conversation with one of their friends and their friends were a married couple that were kind of like us. And they were like, oh my God, that's so wives, not sisters coded. That whole conversation you just had, you know?
Okay. I don't know how to define that, but yes, I think I understand.
Okay, let's try one last one. What does TFW stand for?
TFW.
If I say like TFW, your dog puts her paws on your chest, or like you kiss your dog or something like that. It doesn't have to be about a dog. It could also be like TFW, your wife hugging you when she gets home from work.
It sounds nice.
You're getting all
But I would have thought like the fucking worst, but it sounds like it's like the fucking best, you know?
It's that feeling when.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's just, you know.
That feeling when.
Yeah.
TFW. Yeah, don't know it.
But you actually did really good. I didn't keep score.
I don't think
you kind of got all of them right, but in a weird roundabout way.
I don't think I got most of them right.
No, you did. Well, other than bitch eating crackers was the only one you just fully didn't know, but the rest you kind of got right. So
I'll take it. I won. I won the game.
You win. Maybe a kiss on the cheek later.
Yes.
Maybe.
Okay.
But do you want to tell people what we're really talking about today?
Ooh.
Do you remember?
I think we're talking
that's the
about
ultimate question.
It has to do with Googling.
Yeah. Googling what?
Coming out questions.
Yes. Coming out confusion, the most Googled questions and our real answers.
I'm so curious to see what people are Googling.
I know.
Because it's like, it's so interesting that people would turn to Google to be like, am I gay?
But I've heard so many queer people say this.
I know. I don't think I ever did that.
Well, you came out prehistoric times.
We had Google.
You had Google, but it wasn't as much of a thing where people were like didn't know how to use their own minds to think for themselves.
Yeah, because like definitely like later on, you know, more like when I was around 30, I definitely used Google to be like, how do I break up with somebody? Or like,
yeah, exactly.
How do I do this? How do I handle this? And I feel like people rely on AI now to do that, like to make every decision in their life.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many people are asking ChatGPT, like, am I gay? How do I know I'm gay?
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine it's probably one in this, like it would be very similar searches that would come up.
Mm-hmm.
I also never Googled it. I don't know why. Probably because I didn't have service. That's my guess. I don't know. I don't think to turn to Google, but this is something that comes up in so many coming out stories that I've heard of. So I thought that it would probably be relatable and relative to our audience.
Relevant.
That.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so this is the first one, which is pretty straightforward. How do I know if I'm gay, lesbian, bi, queer, you know, all of the things? Trans can also be in there. We're also, by the way, predominantly only speaking to being queer sexually, you know, because we don't have an experience being queer gender-wise.
Gender-wise, yeah.
Yeah. So, but a lot of the searches that came up were about transness, but we can't really speak from our experience on that.
No.
So how do I know? How do I know if I'm gay?
I don't know. Like, I mean, there's some giveaways.
There's some signs.
Like, when I look back, it's kind of like, I probably should have known a lot earlier. There were a lot of red flags, if you will.
There's a reason.
There were a lot of rainbow flags.
Yeah, there's a reason why no one in your life was surprised when you came out.
Yeah.
Other than you, for some reason.
Yeah, I think people were kind of like waiting my whole life to just admit it to myself almost. Because when I was a little kid, it was just like, well, a lot of people are tomboys when they're little.
Yeah.
But I was like the ultimate tomboy, I think. It was just like.
But not just when you were little. You stayed that way.
Yeah.
You're very, you were athletic.
My essence, for sure.
You were never hyper girly by any means.
Never.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially when I was little, though, it was just basically like I was only wearing soccer shorts and oversized t-shirts and a backwards hat pretty much until I was like 13.
Yeah, that's not that little. I thought you were going to say until I was like 6.
Till like middle school or something.
Well, didn't you say you thought you were a boy until you were 6?
I think yeah.
Because you have 4 older brothers.
Maybe even until I was like 7 or 8. It's unclear.
You realized Santa was not real before you realized you were not a boy.
I was like the little kid on the soccer field who's like 8 years old and like after the game is over, like rip my shirt off, you know?
You're like wearing a cup. There's nothing to protect.
No. People don't wear cups in soccer.
They don't?
But like I would be like, rip off my shirt, you know? And it's like before you're wearing sports bra. I just like didn't want to wear a shirt.
Yeah, when you're 7. That's...
But
yeah,
little
it's
girls
not
are not
typical
doing that.
For girls.
I thought I was a little boy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So
there was definitely some rainbow flags there for me.
I knew people like you in school, in high school and everything, where it was just because back then it just wasn't as typical to come out and probably not as safe to come out. So I don't think anyone in our high school came out. I don't want to say, maybe, I don't remember. But even people who were pretty obviously like kind of even flamboyantly gay, but it was like, no, we just don't talk about that.
Yeah.
And that's how I imagine you.
But what were some of your rainbow flags? Because it's like, you didn't have that experience. You were like girly girl. You were like boy crazy when you were really young.
Yeah. I mean, it never stopped until now. Don't worry. But my signs were more just that I kind of always liked boys and girls equally that way. You know, like the first time I kissed a girl, I was probably 6. The first time I kissed a boy, I was probably 5. And then once it became time to like really start making out, you know, kiss, I'm talking about a peck. But then when it comes time like middle school, when you're like talking about making out in the movies and that kind of, which is so disgusting to think about now, 12-year-olds, like, yeah, I would practice with one of my girlfriends and we'd be like, yeah, we're practicing for boys, but we just kept going. we just kept going. And then every time.
You were a very curious child.
Every time we would have sleepovers, we're like, should we practice? Like, we really went for the practice.
We really need to practice for like 6 hours tonight. So that we're good for the boys.
And but we also knew that it was like, it was embarrassing almost. It wasn't embarrassing to just say like, oh yeah, I've kissed my friend to practice for a boy. But then once it was like as deep as it was, where I'm pretty sure we were dating. I don't know what was happening. We knew that was really like, we couldn't tell people about that.
But it also never made you question like, you weren't Googling, am I gay?
I don't think Google did exist back then. Did it?
Yeah, it did.
Well, I definitely didn't know how to use it then. So yeah, those were my rainbow flags. I would say were much more sexual. Yours were kind of like cute and innocent.
It sounds about right for the story of our lives.
Okay, next question. If I'm a girl who wants to kiss another girl, does that mean I'm gay?
Maybe.
That's kind of what I'm talking about.
Maybe. It just might.
This is the thing.
And it might not.
And we could probably just end this episode right here and now if I just say, if you're Googling any of these questions, the answer is yes, you are probably queer.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're asking the internet, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Because straight people, whether they exist or not, TBD.
They're not asking Google if they're straight.
Ever. They're not really thinking. You don't think about your sexuality when you're straight. Not really. It's like you might think about your sexual preferences and, you know, maybe you're into different kinks or whatever it is, but you're not, I don't know. I just think if you're asking the question, yes, the answer is yes.
The answer is there's something there. Explore.
So what would you say if somebody said that? If I'm a girl who wants to kiss another girl, does that mean I'm gay?
You might not be gay, but you're probably queer.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got some exploring to do, Dora. So now the fun part begins if you haven't already explored. So that's what I would say. It's like there's probably something going on.
You would probably, before me, you would be like, I don't know, you want to try?
I mean, yeah, we can find out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say that question is like follow the rainbow brick road. Okay, if I like watching two girls kiss, then am I gay?
Well,
this is an interesting one.
Not necessarily. Because I think that
a lot of straight girls claim to like lesbian porn.
Yeah. And obviously straight dudes like it.
Well, so yeah, obviously.
I think that, yeah, if you're watching a same-sex makeout or sex scene or something and you're getting a little frisky, then it doesn't necessarily mean anything. I think it's like, it's also something that may be like novel or new, and that can be really exciting. And so it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're queer, but it could be a sign.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, I would say it kind of seems queer to me.
I don't know. I would say for me, when I saw two girls kiss, and like for me, it was like Marissa in the OC when Marissa and Alex kissed.
I was like, Marissa.
Not our friend Marissa. Marissa and Alex in the OC.
Yeah.
It was like I had to obsessively watch it.
Over and over.
Like over and over. It was like I was so excited by it and like so, I didn't know what the feeling was at the time, but it was just like, yeah, you're like getting turned on essentially. Yeah. You're like 14. You don't like fully comprehend all the butterflies happening, but you're just like, I don't know what this is, but this is the best thing I've ever watched. And I have to keep watching it over and over. But also I don't want anyone to know that I'm obsessively watching this.
That's how I was about boobs. But not.
Tell me more.
Not because it's like, I can't remember if I saw girls kissing on TV back then. I'm trying to think of, I never watched the OC, but I'm saying like this was before the OC would have come out anyways. We didn't really see a lot of lesbian stuff on just mainstream TV.
No.
So I don't remember seeing girls kissing, but even if it was not a lesbian scene, but just like a topless girl in a movie, then I would rewind it over and over and over.
Would you really?
Yeah. But then I would also be like, obviously no one can know about this. But I also didn't connect the dots. Like, it it was such a weird thing. It was like obviously a shame thing that was making me be like, no one could know.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also think even if I was doing that for a dick, I would probably be like, oh, I don't want anyone to know about this.
Yeah, either way.
It didn't feel...
Yeah, you don't want people... When you're a teenager, you don't want people...
prying into your sexual curiosity.
Exactly.
But so it didn't connect to me, the gayness of it. But looking back, I'm like, yeah, that was probably a sign. I don't think my supposed straight friends, in quotes, were doing that.
No, I don't think that they were like obsessively rewatching things probably like us. But I think if you watch something and you get turned on by it, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're queer. But if you're obsessively watching it and like rewatching it, that's definitely an indication.
Okay, that is a good distinction. But I just feel like because queerness is there's such a spectrum of it that it's like, maybe you would never act on it. Maybe, I don't know, but it's just, right? Like if you're 100% straight, this mythical 100% straight person that we can't tell if is real or not, don't you think they would not get aroused?
No, I don't think so. Because I think
Really?
It's like novel. It's the same way in which I can be turned on by, you know, a straight scene or straight people having sex in porn or
novel.
something. Because that's novel to me. And I do. And that doesn't make me straight. So I think, you know, this is something where it's just like
anything sexual.
Yeah, anything sexual. I think people can get turned on by all sorts of stuff and doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Or even how I know a lot of lesbians like to watch gay man porn.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
And we talked about the jizz portal in the bi girls versus lesbians episode. And okay, this makes it even more confusing because you're saying this idea of like lesbians, or at least for you, it's like not wanting a dick anywhere in the bedroom. I know you don't like gay man porn.
No, it's not my personal preference.
But yeah, it's just that makes it even more surprising to me because I don't like it. I hardly even like straight. I mean, I don't really watch porn, first of all. But even I'm just talking about like a sex scene in a movie.
Yeah.
But especially if it is more explicit, like I don't even really like looking at dicks. Like they feel aggressive.
They are aggressive.
So 2 dicks. It's nothing about the fact that the guys are gay. I obviously don't care about that because
it's just a lot
I am
of D.
also gay. It's just too much aggressive dick.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do lesbians like that? That's shocking to me.
I don't know, but people like all sorts of different things, and that's okay.
Of course.
But I'm just saying, if you watch something and it turns you on, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are that thing. It could just be something new and exciting, and that, you know, it's the same way in which you could be like, I watched a threesome and got turned on, but I don't want to have a threesome or something like that. You know, it's like, I think there's a really wide range of things that people can get turned on by, and it doesn't necessarily mean that defines their sexuality.
Yeah. But if you watch it and then Google the question after, I think that's different, right? Right?
No, because they might just be like curious about themselves.
I feel like that's gay panic happening.
It may not be panic. I don't know.
Because if you watch it, you feel slightly aroused and someone is like, whatever, it's just sexual and sexuality is arousing. They go throughout their day. Versus,
I mean, it's definitely, if you're, I don't know, but the thing is that I know a lot of overthinkers. Yeah. Like my Libras out there. They're like overthinkers and so they like spiral sometimes, and then they might just like turn to Google to try to help the anxiety mind and the spiraling, when in fact they might just, it's okay. Maybe you're straight, or maybe you're like just on the slight
that's what
curve,
I mean. Just
you're on the slight on the Kinsey scale. And that's okay. It doesn't have to mean anything. Don't panic.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, the next one is, it's kind of the same. If I get turned on by girls in movies, am I a lesbian or am I just curious?
All the above.
So, I mean, okay, this is the real answer. It's like the only way to know is to try, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think for most, or not most people, but I think for a lot of people, what happens is, maybe they meet someone or maybe they get turned on by something show.
Why are you pointing at me?
They're pointing to the iPad. It creates some like curiosity. And then now the exploring phase happens, or like for me, it was like I met this girl and it was we were like magnets. It was just an undeniable attraction.
Okay, relax.
Okay.
Don't even.
I needed some like liquid courage to go there. But once I went there, I was like, wow, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. This is so exciting.
Did you ever consider that you were bi? Or did you just jump straight to Gay Town?
No, I didn't jump straight to Gay Town. That's where I was going with this. Was that like, at first I just thought that I would only ever feel this way about her. Where I was just like so attracted to her and just so into her. But I was like, but that I don't see being gay as what my life path is.
Yeah.
And then, and so then that kind of like begs for further curiosity and further exploration till, I eventually landed on lesbian. But so I don't know, it can take time to figure out.
So did even the word bisexual ever come up for you in your kind of pondering?
It was more like,
because from the time you were with her to the time you came out to your family, how long was it?
Like a year.
And well, actually, do you want to just tell them a little bit about your coming out?
Yeah.
Because you met her, she kind of pulled you out of the closet.
Yeah. So I'd met this girl when I was studying abroad, and I was living in Rome, Italy. And I must have been giving off big gay vibes because that's what I do. And I was walking up to class one day and she was like, hey, you look cool. Do you want to hang out? And she was like smoking a cigarette. She was like the coolest person I've ever seen.
You really need to relax.
She was just a total babe.
Wow.
And I was like really thrown off by it because I was like, I think she might be like hitting on me. And I was like, felt really awkward and uncomfortable, but like also excited because I was like, she's really pretty and like cool. And I went home and from class later and told my roommate about it. She's like, oh, that's Cammie. You met Cammie? Oh, she's so cool. And she's like, did you know she's a lesbian? And instantly in my gut, I was like, I'm even more excited to hang out with her now.
Yeah.
Which is a dead giveaway that you're queer is if you find out someone's gay and then you really want to hang out with them because you're so curious and excited.
That question should be on here, but people probably don't even realize to Google it. But that is such a giveaway.
Because in my coming out story, my big red flags is like anytime someone who was gay invited me to hang out with their friends, I got so excited to spend time with them.
Yeah.
And it was just like I wanted to like be super cool. I wanted to like look good. I was just like
around them.
I just wanted to be like super close. And so anyways, we became friends, and there was like I started to notice I was like attracted to her, but nothing ever happened. Fast forward like 2 years later at the end of college, I ended up going to visit her, and it was like just so intense. And we ended up making out when we were super drunk, and it kind of like kickstarted our relationship. But there was still, for me, there was a lot of
gay panic
happening. And there was a lot of fear about coming out because I thought that I would be rejected. I thought that, my family would reject me. I thought I couldn't be successful in the world. It was a very different time.
I was going to say, for a little context, because this was what year?
2009.
Yeah. And you were from
early
the Midwest. You're from Wisconsin, from a pretty conservative upbringing and just location, culture, all of that kind of stuff.
I didn't really know anyone who was gay. There weren't like great gay role models around me. So I didn't see like people, in corporate jobs having success who were gay. It was just not something that was around me. And so it really put in my head that I was going to really struggle. And so it was just a different time. At that time, there was no gay marriage. It was not a thing. And so it felt like a huge sacrifice to come out. And so when we started dating, it was like we fell in love so hard and so instantaneous, like first loves do, but also like lesbians do.
Yeah.
And but I was having like a lot of internal panic and anxiety of being found out because I wasn't out at the time and I was having this relationship with her. And
you were Miley Cyrusing.
Yeah. And so I was really my best friend caught us. And that's when my panic really set in, was like, people are going to find out, my life's going to fall apart. And I was like, it was a really scary time. I started having panic attacks and had to go to therapy for the first time. And
this was going on for a year, like you said.
Yeah.
And
it didn't go on for like, no, it was probably like a 6-month time period. It was a year until I told my parents.
Guys, because were you in a committed relationship? Because didn't you say at some point too, you also were like making out with guys?
We were not in a committed relationship because I was not out.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be in a committed relationship when you're not out. Yeah. She was fully out. And for me, it was just like, I don't know if I'm ready to fully accept that this is going to be the rest of my life, I think is what it was. And I had a lot to process. And it was like through therapy that I got to the point of like, yes, you are a lesbian. You're not actually interested in men, but like you're so worried about your life falling apart that you can't like accept that yet.
Yeah.
And so it took me time to get there.
Yeah. Because part of that, weren't you also making out with guys still sometimes when you would get drunk? And
yeah, because I didn't want to be gay.
Exactly. Not because but wouldn't that almost make you feel kind of worse?
Yeah, I felt like a horrible person because I was so in love with her and I felt shame for like hurting her.
And you didn't like the guy. Like it was just the whole cycle of it, which I think I'm just mentioning that because I think that's really common.
Yeah.
With people and
put
also
me in a shame spiral.
Kind of, you know, in relation to the bi girls versus lesbian episode that we did where, you know, we're talking about more this idea that bi people can choose one or the other. And of course, these are the stereotypes. Like, of course, they're going to go with the man. But same can kind of go with baby gays, even if they're like, no, I'm a lesbian. I've just heard a lot of stories like that when they're in that gay panic, first coming out phase, trying to figure it out because they're sort of like half in the closet, half not, like not wanting to accept being gay. So they keep hooking up with the opposite sex to try to ungay themselves.
Yeah.
And that's obviously really hurtful to whoever they are in love with, because I think not everybody, but it is pretty common for people to find out about their queerness because they fall for someone.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's less common for you to just realize like, oh, I just like both kind of organically without there being this like one person that is sort of bringing that out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's becoming more common now where people are, you know, like
it's so different now. It's
younger kids are even considering their sexuality.
Yeah, it's everywhere in TV shows. Like you have role models out in the world. It's a totally different world now.
Yeah. So, okay. Do you want to tell them what happened when you talked to your family finally? Because it's a very cute story.
Sure. Yeah. So I eventually told my family. And some of my siblings I'd already told, but I had not yet told my parents. The siblings that I had told all had reacted really positively. Like my sister was basically like, I had asked her to go to lunch and she'd like basically been waiting for me to tell her. So she was like, I was wondering when you were going to like come around to tell me. And then my brothers were like, show me who you're hooking up with. And they're like, how are you hooking up with girls that are hotter than the girls that we're hooking up with? So they were just like competitive. It was weird. Out. Yeah, broing out. But they were super supportive. And then when I ended up telling my parents, I was really nervous because my dad is very conservative, more from the South. We were never religious, but we, you know, from a small town in Wisconsin.
He's also a lot older.
He's a lot
84
older.
84 now. So
yeah, he was like 45-ish when he had me. So, so much older, different generation. And so anyways, I was really nervous to tell him because also I lost my mom when I was little. And so my dad was like, you know, my role model. He's my main parent,
man.
Right. And so the thought of like being rejected by like your last parent felt very overwhelming. And so finally on Christmas, I'm having so much anxiety. I'm like crying and my sister's just like
Christmas.
Yeah. Christmas Day where we're all together. And my sister's like, come on, like, you know, let's just do it now. Let's just get it over with. Like you'll feel better. She knew I was having such a hard time. So we all went into the office of my sister's house and with my parents, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't say the words. I was crying.
Say what words? I'm gay?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
I couldn't bring myself to say the words to my parents.
Had you said them out loud to anyone yet?
Yeah, I told you, my siblings.
But did you say it that way, like I'm gay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so my sister was like, can I tell them? And I was like, yeah. She was like, well, you know, Alix wants to share like that she's gay. And I was like looking at their reaction, like, please take this well, you know? And my dad had a really sweet reaction. He started to cry and he was like, you know, he's like, I saw that you've been having a really hard year and I didn't know why. But he's like, the fact that it was because you didn't want to tell me that this is what it was and that I would essentially be causing you pain. He's like, that makes me feel really sad. And I just want you to know that there's nothing that you could ever do or like be that would ever stop me from loving you because you're my soulmate, which was like such a beautiful moment.
So cute.
Yeah, it was a really beautiful moment. And then we walked out of the office and my stepmom went, called it. And it was a really cute moment because she, like you said, everybody had just been waiting, I think.
Yeah.
And so it was very sweet.
That is really cute. Very, very cute. Okay, next question. If I think a girl is pretty, does that mean that I'm bi?
I don't think so.
No.
Because I think dudes are attractive all the time. Like, you can acknowledge that
someone is attractive.
Someone is an attractive person.
Yeah.
That's different than being
attracted to them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Being attracted to them is a feeling in the body. You will know that feeling versus
you feel it in,
acknowledging.
If you're getting butterflies, if you're feeling it in your loins, or if you're obsessively thinking about somebody, like maybe you saw somebody, like a girl at lunch, and she's your friend or something, or friend, and you can't stop thinking about them, or you want to be close to them, or you want to reach out to them.
It's like the physical proximity to them too. Of like, I want, not even in a sexual way, but just like you want to always sit next to them. It has to be so close. So close.
Can you talk about when we were at that dinner and I touched your leg?
Yeah. But yeah, that's a perfect example of like just not, it's not about thinking that you're pretty or not. So when we first met, and go back and listen to that first episode that we did, if you want to hear the whole story, if you haven't already. When we first met and, naturally we're friends first. I didn't know that I was queer. You were a huge lesbian. That was very obvious. So, and I had that same feeling that you were talking about when you find out someone is gay or queer in any way. You're like, oh, okay. Now all of a sudden we are best friends for some reason. Like I need to be so close to you all the time. And I had that feeling of that close in proximity as well. Like not just at the dinner, but also getting in the hammock with you, sharing a bed with you. And not even, again, not in a sexual way, but just I've done these things with my friends who were girls so many times, never felt anything. And we were at this dinner and essentially there was a lot of really nasty old white expat men there. This was in Nicaragua and they were talking about, they were just talking about locals in a really disgusting way, like really repulsive. I don't even know why or how we were at this dinner, but we were kind of trapped there because our place was like 5 miles away. And
someone had given us a ride, so we couldn't
leave.
We didn't have a car.
Of leaving. So we're just suffering through this dinner. And the guy said something gross and you reached under the table and you grabbed my leg, you squeezed my knee to be like, oh my God, what a fucking asshole. Essentially, it was not sexual. I had shorts on, so it was my bare thigh. And I was just like, oh my God. Like it was just like a full feeling through my body.
Full body reaction.
Yeah, of just like, okay. Because again, I've had plenty of like that could have happened with so many of my other friends that were girls if we were at that same dinner and they could have reached on their table and grabbed my knee to give me this signal and I wouldn't have felt anything. But it's just stuff like that where it's like, okay, that's different than just thinking someone is pretty.
Yeah,
or liking.
That's like, I have an attraction for you. I don't just think that you are an attractive person.
Yeah. Okay. How to come out?
Oh, I don't know if there's a right way to come out or wrong way to come out.
You know my stance on this.
Yeah. Tell them what your stance is.
Okay. I will caveat this by saying this is also with the assumption that you are in a place where there's safety. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying, oh yeah, do this if you're living in the Middle East and your physical safety is at risk. Or, obviously there's plenty of places in the States or households in the States where it's also not safe. So this is more of just if you are kind of like me or you, like you were scared that maybe you would feel rejected, but you were never threatened safety-wise for coming out. So just someone who's maybe having a hard time accepting it. My plan, my strategy with coming out, which is the same thing that I do with kind of everything. If it's like this, where it's a big deal, but I don't want it to be a big deal, then I just act like it's not a big deal, It's kind of like gaslighting, I guess, a little bit. You're just making it seem like, oh, I didn't tell you that already? Oh, yeah. By the way.
So how did you do it?
So to who?
Well, How did you, like, to your friends when you first told, like, how did you downplay it so it didn't come off as a big deal?
Yeah. So the very first friend that I told, I think that one I didn't have the strategy yet. Okay.
But she was your safe friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all of my friends were safe.
Yeah.
Or so I thought. It turns out they weren't, but I thought that they were at the time. But yeah, I told her, you know, I was like, yeah, I like kind of have this crush on this person. And I was just beating around the bush. It was in a voice note too. So she couldn't really like say something back. I was like, I have this crush on this person, but I feel like I shouldn't. Like, I'm kind of just going back and forth. I'm like, yeah. And because, you know, like it's, you know, like I just couldn't spit it out. I just kept saying that over and over. Yeah, they're a girl. And she responded back, my friend, and was just like, oh, what's her name? What is she like? Just asked me, didn't say anything. She wasn't like, oh my God, haha. You know, it wasn't anything other than just.
Or like, what? What does this mean? Like, who are you? What is your identity? Like, tell me everything.
None of that. But also not even kind of making fun of me for rambling so much, which, you know. So, and then as I learned that I liked you and especially once we knew that, okay, not because I had actually liked girls before. That was the thing is I had sexual experiences with girls. That was one part of it. And a lot of the times it was like, yeah, I was attracted to them, but I didn't like them the same way that like I could have sexual experiences with boys just because I was attracted to them, but I didn't have feelings for them, like deeper feelings. So, but then I feel like I have to rewind to tell a little bit about the first girl because that person I actually liked, you know, it was like a real feeling. And I don't know if it was just because I was living in the Philippines at the time and gayness is a big part of the culture there, especially on the island where I was at least. And so it just, again, didn't feel like that big of a deal. And I had the same experience where this girl, I had been friends with her for several months at this point, probably 6 months, super close. I was talking to another mutual friend. He said something about her going home with a girl the night before. I was like, a girl? And he's like, yeah, she's bi. And I had this full body reaction that we're talking about where it's like, she is? And I just all of a sudden,
You're like giddy.
I giddy and saw her in this totally different light. Like all of a sudden I was like, I'm in love with her. Okay, it's fine. Should we make out now? Like it was such a weird, at the time, I didn't even realize. It's like in hindsight, I can see that now. It's so kind of cute and silly, but didn't realize that at the time and immediately felt attracted to her. And then we kind of had, I mean, I call it dating. I don't know what else to call it, but you know, it wasn't anything serious, but we were hanging out a lot. We would go to parties together. We would hold hands. We would leave together. Like it was coupley, cutesy, whatever. But, I also didn't really want to date anyone at that time. Not seriously. I was in my single era. I was just enjoying it. And it was the same thing when I told my friends. I don't actually even think I told them. I literally think we just showed up at a party together holding hands and everyone's like, cute. No one said anything.
Amazing.
Anything. They're like, oh, you guys are so cute.
That's so unusual.
So unusual. And I'm not blaming them by any means. Like, definitely that reaction is ideal. But I think when you don't have this outside pressure, at least for me, then I didn't have any internal pressure to figure it out either because I didn't have to answer to anyone. I feel like any of the pressure I felt the second go around of coming out, because that was like my first time coming out. And the reason that I didn't say anything to my family, for instance, is because nothing came of this situationship. You know?
Makes sense.
I had so many people, guys, I should say, that I had little flings with that I didn't tell my parents about because you don't tell your parents every time you hook up with someone. Like that's weird. More unusual. So I didn't come out in this bigger way online or anything, you know, because we never fully dated. And I just never thought anything about it. Same thing. I was like, maybe it was just her. I don't know. Like it's still, I just never questioned it. And then when I met you and I had those feelings, it was obviously much stronger than the previous person that I'm talking about. And yeah, I didn't feel this pressure to kind of define it right away. But one of the reasons that I knew that I wanted to tell people is because at this point, my life was very public online. And I had always shared my life and my relationships. And it was like, I know we were about to go to Bali together, you know? Like, I know I'm going to share you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to hide. I didn't want you to feel hidden, you know? Like, it was like, I didn't want anything like that. And so that was actually like one of the reasons why I came out the way that I did. But so I just ended up telling people, I'm like, yeah, I'm dating someone. I'm super happy. And they're like, oh, who is he? And I'm like, oh, her name is Alix. That's literally how I would tell my friends. I just
downplayed it.
I just downplayed it. And same reaction. Some people ended up being a little bit.
But initially, no one, it was all good.
Yeah. I would say probably half of the people were very like, oh, that's amazing. That's super, you know. And then some people were like, what? Are you gay now? What does this mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. And when it came to my family, I felt that same kind of pressure to have to come out because I didn't want my family to find out from me posting online.
No.
That would be crazy.
That would be
crazy.
Know.
If you have to do that for your own, you know, safety and you're not close to your family, that's one thing.
But you guys had a better relationship than to like for them to find out online.
Yeah. And I think that part was it. Again, it was more in hindsight. I can see how that was kind of messed up of the way that it happened. Like, I don't have a cute story like you have.
No.
You know, and
it was hard.
And when I had my first podcast 5 years ago and I shared my coming out story, I'm like, it was great. And I'm sure that there's probably some people listening who listened to that episode and are like, I thought everything was fine. And this is the thing, is that it's like, I didn't lie intentionally. That was how I kind of wrote the story in my mind out of self-protection, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't want to hurt my own feelings, number one. Number two, when I started my old podcast, it was still 2020. That was the year I was coming out.
We were in a hardcore honeymoon bubble.
That's what I was going to say. Everything was just bouncing off. Like,
nothing could stop us. We were just so in love, so excited. Even if people told us like, gross, you're in a relationship with a girl, we'd be like, ha ha. Like, we wouldn't care at all. Not everything bounced off of us.
At all. Yeah. So it was also that where I was like in our delusion era of our love.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the other part of it too was I knew that by kind of sharing my family's reaction, that doesn't make them look good, right? Because most people nowadays kind of judge if a family doesn't accept their queer kid, no matter how old the kid is, you know, that can be judged.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I wanted to protect them from that judgment. And actually, something that kind of shifted it for me, this is so random, but when we did our Shannon Beveridge episode, and remember how we were talking about how she had shared how her mom had said the thing to her, like, oh, are you gay now? And that's not the best reaction. But now her mom is like the ultimate ally.
Yeah, she's a cheerleader. She's going to be the mom to all the queers.
All the queers. And it just kind of shows that it's like maybe you didn't have the best reaction, but that also doesn't define you. And I shouldn't have to kind of like change my story to make other people feel like you know what I mean? I don't know the right way to say it.
Yeah, what happened.
Exactly.
Like, it's just the reality of the situation.
Exactly.
And it wasn't great.
It wasn't great. And if it was less of, there was partially a lot of on my dad. My mom didn't care.
No.
My mom has always just been super happy that I found love in a really healthy, loving, like, it's always genuine. She didn't have to get over it. She didn't have to work through stuff. She was just always stoked.
Just so happy.
And my dad had a much harder time with it. I come from a religious background. I knew that was going to be part of it. He was uncomfortable around us. And
there was also like a pressure on you to define what you were, who you were, and explain that to them in his timeline.
Yeah. And that was more of what it was, where we talked about this in another episode too. I don't remember which one, when I said like normalize lying. It was the Jojo Siwa one, where I was like, if people don't want to explain their personal life yet. Maybe it's because they're not ready. And people have a right to lie to protect their privacy. That's different than lying just for the sake of lying. It's like you are allowed to lie to figure it out. And that was something that it was like they got upset with me about for lying because they asked if we were dating, and we weren't dating. They just
we hadn't even acknowledged to ourselves that we liked each other.
They could just tell from the photos that there was chemistry there before we would even admit it to ourselves. And so that was really it. You know, it was just like, I'm so disappointed in you for lying, and that's so messed up. And so it was just this kind of like double shame of coming out, and now you're also a liar and you're gay.
Yeah. It was a lot.
But it didn't feel like a lot at the time, if that's any consolation, because I was like, I'm so in love. I don't care. And it did just kind of bounce off. So yeah, by the time I did finally tell them, it was just, hey, I sent it in a text and I just said, hey, you're going to see this anyways. Me and Alix are dating now. I just wanted you to know. So it was just, I didn't say the words I'm gay. Like you were saying, you couldn't say those words. I didn't say those words because I didn't know if they were true. So it wasn't as much that I'm like, oh, I can't say that. I was just like, I don't.
Yeah, which is hard when you have like people around you pressuring you to like tell you your identity. When you, for most people, it's not, understanding your identity is not an instantaneous thing.
It's a life.
It's a life journey.
Process.
And even when you're coming out, like that might take a year. It might take a couple years. Like who knows? It might be you settle on something and then 10 years later it changes. Like,
exactly.
And so it's hard when there's people around you putting pressure on you to really figure out who you are, what you are, because they're trying to get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
They want to know what you are because then that helps them
to put you in a bucket.
in a box, and then they can try to wrap their minds around it. And it's hard for people to sit in that uncomfortable place of not knowing or fluidity around it.
Yeah. And all I knew was that I loved you and I wanted to be with you. So that's kind of how I came out, is like, I'm dating someone. Her name is Alix.
Yeah.
And that was it, because I didn't know what that made me other than in love with you, you know?
That's so cute.
Honey. Okay. So this is kind of the same. Am I gay or do I just admire women? We've kind of already talked about that. How do I know if I'm straight or bi-curious?
I mean,
straight people don't want to hook up with the same sex. They don't even want to kiss them. Right?
I mean, yeah, it's also just the same things that we've talked about. You're not getting those
full body
reactions. Yeah.
If I like kissing girls, but I still like boys, what am I?
Well,
you're a bicon.
Yeah, you're queer.
You're queer in some way.
Yeah. I think we talked about outside people putting pressure on you, but sometimes no one puts more pressure on you than yourself.
Yeah.
And so when you're in that process of like, you know, for me, I definitely felt that. I was like, oh, wait, wow, like I'm in love with this person. What does this mean? Like that like feeling of having to decide who you are, what you are, and then what does that mean for the rest of your life? It feels like insurmountable pressure at times. And so I think it's like, the same way we would ask like people to not put pressure on you for figuring out who you are. It's like, try to relieve some of that internally, because it's like, yeah, you don't need to know exactly who you are or what you are. It's going to take time to figure out, but you're probably a little queer.
And I understand wanting to have a name for it. I do. Part of it is just an ease of explanation.
Yeah.
I tell you that all the time when I'm like, yeah, sometimes it could just be easier to say, I'm in a lesbian, like if I'm like, oh, I'm in a lesbian relationship, but I'm not a lesbian, because it's like you feel like you have to give your whole life story instead of just a single word. That's so much easier. So I understand wanting that. You know, sometimes it is for your own mind to wrap around, to kind of put yourself in that box for yourself to understand. But in some ways, it also really just doesn't matter. As long as you feel confident in who you are and happy and recognize that love is real and normal. And, you know, it's like, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
If I come out as gay, will my life be harder?
I think it depends in the way that you interpret the harder.
Well, I think it really depends for every person, depending on where you live, your culture, your family.
There's so many factors to it because it's like
religion.
You could, let's say you are gay, but you stay straight and you have a straight relationship. You get married to someone you're not attracted to. You have a family. You have this whole life. It's like maybe your life is easier in some ways, potentially. But that sounds really hard to me to like deny who you are, to deny and not be maybe ever in love with somebody or to be fulfilled in that way. That sounds really hard to me compared to the hard I've faced. But that doesn't, but you know, I have a lot of privilege in saying that because not everyone can be out and open and like have as easy of a life as maybe I have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a good point of there's always a hard on either side
Choose
of the
your
equation.
hard. Choose your hard.
And also, you know, it is going to be different. That's the thing, is like it is going to be different than living a straight life where something like politics are now impacting your rights to have a family, to get married, to, you know, for the most part, other than I guess like women's rights are also being voted on. But for the most part, it's like straight people, your rights, aren't necessarily always up for debate in that same way. So it's like it is going to be different. There are going to be challenges because you won't have, we're talking about privilege, the same privilege anymore. You can't travel everywhere you want to go at any time. You might be treated differently depending on how you end up presenting yourself or out in public with whoever you're with, you know, like it can be different. And some of that different is harder, but I also like the kind of like reframe that you have because that's also very true.
Yeah, I think it's like with almost anything. It's like you have to choose the hard that you want. It's like this is like a totally tangential thing, but it's like maybe you really want to be an entrepreneur and that means like leaving behind your cushy corporate job. It's like, well, there's still hard things about being in corporate, but choose the hard that you want for your life because also being an entrepreneur is hard. It's going to be way different. You won't have a reliable paycheck. You're going to have all these different things that come into play, but it's like, it's about pursuing like really authentically what you want in your life. And that's going to come with a different set of hard things that you have to face.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm gay, can I still be successful?
Yes, absolutely.
Do we look like a bunch of deadbeats to you?
No. The answer is no.
I am on a mission to bring power lesbians back.
Oh my goodness. Side note, when Kayla had surgery recently, if you followed along for her upper bluff situation, I had the privilege of driving her home post-surgery. And she was all hopped up on medications.
Because I had to be awake for the surgery. And because my mind is so strong, they gave me a double dose of anesthesia because I wouldn't go under. This is oral anesthesia and pain meds and anxiety meds, all three. I was like, nope, I'm still here. I feel everything. I couldn't go under because
so anxious.
I was so anxious. And then by the time it was over and I was in the car, I could relax. And then all the drugs kicked in because it was like, oh, I'm safe. And I blacked out. I don't remember driving home.
Oh my gosh. She went on the biggest rant about how there's not enough power lesbians in the world and we got to bring power lesbians back. And just like that was the only thing that mattered in this world at this time was we need more power lesbians. And so we're here to tell you that, yes, you can be successful if you're queer in all forms. You know, obviously it may look different depending on where you live in the world, but like, you know, most places in the States, you can absolutely be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is so good to see all of that represented more in the media, you know, instead of just the hardship all the time. Okay, last one. Can gay people still travel?
Oh, we know you have opinions on this one. I mean, yes, of course.
We've traveled half the year in Nicaragua.
We've been, I don't even know how many countries we've visited together. But we've
a lot.
You know, we've been to Europe, we've been to Asia, we've been to Africa, we've been to Central America, South America, all over the US. We've been all over the world together.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that travel always looks the same.
Right.
But you can absolutely travel.
Yeah. And it is, of course, this is what we're talking about. Like, it will be different. That was one of the things that I was the most worried about with coming out, or not even worried, but just maybe I almost had to grieve a little bit because I was living out of a backpack at the time. I lived in Asia and Africa. Many of the places where I was also working, I had a nonprofit at the time. So I'm in very remote, off the grid places in Asia and Africa. And Africa, more specifically, was known for having some pretty intense anti-gay laws. Mm-hmm. And I knew like, well, I'm not going to be able to work there anymore because a lot of my partners and things who I was working with, they followed me online. So I wasn't going to necessarily feel safe. And that was a big thing for me to grieve. But I was also like, I don't care. I'm so in love. I don't care. I'll do anything. I don't care. And yeah, we make it work. It's also, it's something I think both of us feel really strongly about. I love sharing about our travels online to show queers, no matter the age, young or old, that you can still travel. Like, your life isn't over and you don't only have to go to gay resorts. If you want to do that, cool. But it's like, that's not the only option. You still can
definitely
can do so much.
Yeah. And it might look different depending on where we go. In some places,
right,
we don't do PDA.
Yeah.
It's just not a thing. But
I also don't do PDA with, I didn't do PDA with my boyfriends in some places.
In certain places,
well.
for sure.
It's
because
just
maybe it's super religious. You need to be more covered up. It's just inappropriate, right? And in general, like, if it's inappropriate to be kissing in a hetero relationship, it's going to be inappropriate to kiss in the same sex. So so in some places we don't do PDA. When we're in Paris, we're making out
all over
at the cafes. It's awesome. So I think it's just being really mindful and respectful of the local culture. But also, like, as somebody who looks gay, I haven't had any issues. And it's really funny because in some places I fully am they think I'm a man.
Yeah.
Like in Nicaragua,
we get straight privilege.
Yeah. In Nicaragua, I'm senior. Everywhere I go, I'm taller than all the men there. Like, they just see me as a man.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting when we were in Africa and we went on safari, everyone knew I was a woman.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, okay, this is so interesting. So it's, usually the hardest part I have is the bathroom situation when I've talked about this already on the podcast, but when I go to different countries, like, sometimes people think I'm a guy, sometimes people think I'm a girl, and I have to navigate that. And like, people have been cool about it, but we've been super fortunate in our travels to be respected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, look into it of wherever you're going. For the most part, what I've seen, it's like how they treat a tourist is going to be very different than how they might treat their own people. It's like, they're like, oh yeah, tourists are weird, they do gay shit. But if it was their son or their daughter, it might be very different.
Yeah.
But there is, again, privilege and different kind of unspoken rules almost apply.
Yeah.
But
that's very true.
You can travel. Please travel when you're gay. Please. I just think it's so important. It's so important. So, do you think we helped? Do you think we helped any coming out confusion?
I hope so.
I think, like I said, if you're Googling, the answer is probably yes.
Yeah, if you're Googling, it's probably yes. And it's probably a sign that there's a deeper part of you that wants to explore, and that there's some fears that may be preventing you from doing that. And so maybe just like try to connect with that part of you that's, like, has a need or a desire, and trying to understand what that might be, and maybe allowing yourself to explore it.
And I know a lot of people have talked about something that helped them come out was to watch other people's coming out stories on YouTube and or listening to podcasts, because even just between the two of ours, totally different experiences, right? And even like, you were in the shame spiral for a year having panic attacks, and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I'm gay, I'm making out with girls. It's just like totally different experiences. And so listening to different people's coming out stories can kind of maybe help you know how to navigate your own or give you ideas. You'll feel that resonance when it happens. It's like, oh, yeah, that worked. I'm going to try that. So
one of the things that helped me the most was when I was in my gay panic era and my friend had found out because she caught me in my first love she was like, she was straight and she was like, let's go to a gay bar. Let's have you explore this, And so, and that gave me more confidence to like start to explore. And so she came with me to my first ever lesbian night out
and this
party.
Is why you're an advocate for the straights in gay bars.
Yeah.
Although it does feel different having a girl than a guy.
Yeah. And she came with me and she was like such a good friend and like helped me meet people and make friends that night. And it really started me down that journey. So like, I don't know, sometimes having a friend to encourage you and like to come with you just to give you that additional confidence and see what it is. And it could just be a fun thing.
And I would just say coming out to whoever feels like the safest person first. The same way, like you said, I came out to my safe friend. It was like come out to the person that you think you're almost 100% positive will have that best reaction to help you and support you through the ones that might be more challenging. Instead of going for the hardest person first, like, oh, I just got to get this off my chest. It's like, no, find support first. Yeah. And obviously therapy can be hugely helpful like it was for you.
Yeah.
All right, honey, I see your who's the problem. And this is so messed up that this is even on here. I would love to know how you're going to defend yourself other than
you're not supposed to see my who's the problem.
Other than just not
you're cheating.
Remembering. Tell the people what you did.
Okay. I don't know when this was, maybe a year and a half ago.
I don't know. Whenever it came out.
But I don't know if you've ever had this situation where, we have a list of shows that we want to watch and we want to watch together. And in general, we have it's actually a spoken rule where if we're watching a show together, and we're apart, we can't watch the show.
Unless we agree.
Unless we make an agreement and we'll say, hey, you can watch one episode apart or two, whatever. But in general, we want to watch the show together. And sometimes what happens is we have a bunch of TV shows that are like on our list that we want to watch next. The like my list on Amazon and Netflix.
Whatever, all the things.
Okay. And so about a year and a half ago, I went on a trip and there was a show that was on our list that we wanted to watch together. And I chose to watch it when we were apart.
The whole show.
I watched the whole show when I was away from you.
The whole show. But I also had said before you left, first of all, I put the show on the list and I said, oh my God, I can't wait to watch this show with you. It's going to be so good.
So the show was Griselda.
And
it was good. And I watched it without you.
I still haven't seen it.
And I want to know if I'm the problem because I chose to watch it without you, even though it was on our shared list.
Even though I asked you not to, then you're leaving out a key piece.
I didn't remember you saying that.
Yes.
I just thought it was one of the many shows that are on our list, which is like, who knows when we're going to watch these things, but it's like something we're interested in watching. I didn't remember that you had said, like, I want to watch this with you. And so am I in the wrong?
Even worse.
Or are you?
Is that
or should I be allowed to watch the show without you?
What had made it even worse is I was at home and thinking, I wish I could watch this show right now, but I'm not going to watch it because we agreed to watch it together.
And then you log in and you see it. Someone's watched it halfway through.
No, that's what had happened is that when you came back, I was like, okay, let's watch. And I was like, why does it show that it's already been watched? And you're like, what do you mean? Classic response from Alix, what do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean?
I watched it. I watched it without you. So am I the problem?
Yes.
Or is it that you're the problem?
That is a weak argument. Okay. So mine is also about us. As we've established, I am what is known as the cleaning fairy in this household.
Okay.
And I am okay with the fact that I like things to be more cleanly, so I clean more. I have more flexibility in my job. I have more time to clean. Fine.
Okay.
But I can clean the entire kitchen, like scrub. Everything is scrubbed clean. But I leave one of my dishes in the sink. You come and cook your whole meal, whatever you're making. My dish is in the sink because I had to like run out for a call, whatever is happening. You know where this is going. You cook your meal after I've thoroughly cleaned the kitchen. My singular bowl is in the sink. You clean everything that you made, which is a great start. But then my single bowl in there, I'll come back and be like, why didn't you put my bowl in the dishwasher? And you're like, that's yours. We've been married for 5 years. I'm like, there is no yours.
I do that sometimes, and I know that I'm the problem. I'm so sorry.
It's so messed up.
I don't know why I do that. And I'm just like, in my brain, it's like, it's not mine. I don't have to do it.
It's not my responsibility.
Not responsibility.
Fuck that bowl.
Yeah. But
okay,
I know I'm the problem.
Okay, fair enough. As long as
maybe I'm really the problem this week.
Okay, we love you guys. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.